angles. If I move, it just...
So it's more sore today?
Yes, but it feels almost like somebody's just poking me in a direct spot.
Where do you feeling that at?
Like almost like right up in this area here.
Diseases and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to then spend more time with people, so I wanted to help them out more directly, if that makes sense.
That does.
We're more involved in their care.
Yes.
And so it took me a long time to find physical therapy, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But once I found it, it just clicked for me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's stretching on your own is different than having somebody else stretch you.
Ah, okay.
We do have a option of doing some imaging on your shoulder.
Okay.
To kind of see, just to let you see exactly what's going on and why you're having that pain.
Okay.
It's called musculoskeletal ultrasound.
Like an MRI, like I gotta get
Kind of like MRI, but you don't have to get in a big machine. It's just a device that gets scanned over your shoulder.
Really?
And so it can tell you exactly what's going on, tell you what you're doing that's making that pain.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what to work on.
Okay.
Let you know what you should be focusing on and what you should be avoiding.
Now, what's the difference between that and the traditional MRI?
So the MRI, you're still.
Okay.
So you want to be in a big tube, arm still, nothing's moving. You can't move an MRI. But the musculoskeletal ultrasound, you can do it while you're moving, so you can actually see what your motions are doing, what your muscles are doing while you're doing the motion.
Okay. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Erwin. Good to see you. How you feeling?
Good. I'm
You good?
A little bit better, like I said.
Okay.
Whatever you did, the stretching out thing was nice.
It helped?
I like that.
All right, great. Now remember today, I said I was gonna introduce you to somebody. I want to do an ultrasound scan on you, right? So this is Jeff Corsier.
Jeff Corsier, good to meet
He's
you,
the
bro.
PT that's gonna do your ultrasound. You're in great hands. I'm gonna leave them to you.
Okay.
I'll come check on you afterwards, okay?
All right, that'll work.
All right, behave yourself.
No promises, but we'll see what I can do.
All right.
Wait till he figures out what I'm getting into.
Okay, all right. We'll see.
Yes?
I haven't.
Oh, this is gonna be
That should have, shouldn't it?
You probably should.
Oh,
That's all right. I'll tell
well,
him.
you let them. Break them on easy.
I'll break them in.
All right.
Good, all right?
Good.
Aside from the obvious?
Yeah. Just a little tightness in the shoulder, but it's a lot going on. I had shoulder surgery maybe about 3-ish years ago.
Okay.
The gotcha is that I never got a chance to do any rehab. I did have decompression on this shoulder, but I was able to go through full rehab, so this is fine. Okay. This one, I tore the rotator cuff and ripped the bicep off the bone. They had to stitch all of that in there, put a nerve block and stuff like that in it. But I never did. I did literally one rehab session. Yeah, I did one rehab session during it, but I never got a chance to do anything else. As of late, I've been noticing that there's just a lot of tension and tightness, little things. You know, you put your hands behind your back, this arm never hits the floor all the way. So when you put your hands behind your back, this one's always kind of just up.
Oh, gotcha. If you're laying on your back.
Yeah. It's painfully obvious that, one I can hit the floor, the other is just not so much. It's close, but never really hitting. And if I do, I got to like arch my back and everything.
Gotcha.
I believe Dr. Hawkins said, don't quote me, I believe she says about a 10-degree difference in range of motion and everything. My goal is to just make sure I have full range of motion. I got a lot going on. One of the things I'm doing is I move around. I do a lot of public speaking and everything like that. But I'm a pro wrestling referee now, training to be a wrestler.
Outstanding.
So the biggest thing is making sure this body can keep up with that, whether it be, let's figure out.
Body slam, you got to be able to hit people with chairs.
Bingo. I want to be able to take the licks and give them too. And the last thing I want to do is swing like this and hurt myself when I got to take out my guy. Or I want to hold a belt up, but I can only hold it up like right here as the champion.
Gotcha.
So I want to definitely just be able to make sure that the body can keep up, especially at the age I'm at right now. I'm 44. So I just want to make sure that this thing can keep up. And I know that a lot of that is we do a little work on the front end that'll pay dividends.
That's right.
On the back end. But I figure out to see where we're going is probably a good idea to see where we're at.
Okay. Yeah. So what makes it the worst? What makes you hurt more than anything?
I would probably say when I put my hand behind my back and try to just correct my posture and stand straight. Like if I'm just here and then I do this, it literally just feels like someone's right here
Right where you're
just
pointing.
poking
Okay.
and twisting. So it's just really
Okay.
tight back there.
Gotcha.
Dr. Hawkins has me doing some exercise with the strap where I pull my hand up like this,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
even it doesn't take much. When I come up to about there, it's like,
It's
that's
gonna
tight.
bite
And
you.
I'll catch myself doing this, or I'm bending over like this to compensate for it. So I want to just straighten up and correct everything because I'm pretty sure it's a posture issue somewhere in there
Gotcha.
too.
You taking any meds for it? Any pain meds?
No, I haven't had any need to. I've been
Good.
pretty lucky. In those times during training sessions, if it's sore, usually good soak, maybe an ice, I'm good to go. Rarely have I had a situation where I even need to take any type of ibuprofen or anything. It's been pretty good. I do work out. I try to work out daily where I can.
You do.
I don't have the same, obviously, strength in it, but it's still pretty good. I can do easily with a bar. I can do about 50 to 75 pounds with a barbell. Yeah,
really?
Military is easy, so it's not too bad. I would say the ones I would really feel the most is when I come with the lat from the side like this, I'll feel a little bit.
Gotcha.
And if I come to the front, maybe a little bit.
Okay. Do you do any bench press?
I have done bench pressing. I haven't done them in a minute. That last ice storm that came through, I took a nasty spill down my stairs from the second floor all the way down. So the push-ups, it went back to, remember I told you that finger poke? I started feeling that finger poke, and that's kind of what brought me in here was the poke came back, and I was so scared because they told me I'm paranoid because they say if you've ripped a rotator cuff injury, it's worse. And I'm like, please don't let this be what that is. So I just want to make sure.
We'll find out. We'll know in the next 20 minutes if you've done anything.
Perfect.
Okay. So you're not benching right now, but you have been.
Yes.
That one's kind of X-rated. So watch out for bench press. Nothing hates shoulders more than bench press, probably. Aside from pro wrestling. Pro wrestling, probably the worst.
Probably the worst.
Next worst is heavy bench press.
Okay.
Well, let me do a little physical exam on you real quick.
Sure.
That'd be okay? Will you stand up for me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me just grab his shoulder. I'm going to poke around for a minute. And you just tell me if I hit anything that's particularly tender. This is around that spot you were talking about, huh?
Yep.
But it doesn't hurt to touch it.
No.
Okay. Still okay? Okay. All right. Nothing really particularly tender. Gotcha. I'm going to get right in your armpit for just a second. Still good there too?
Yep, still good.
Okay.
A little ticklish, but I'm good.
Okay. I'm going to do a couple other things. Hold right here for me. Don't let me push you down. Hold. How is that? You okay?
A little bit, yeah. I feel a little bit in it, but not much.
A little bit of pain?
Yeah, a little bit of pain.
In the front again?
Yeah, in the front
again.
again.
Okay, relax and be loose. I'm going to take you up this way. I feel that little pop in there. Does that hurt?
Yeah, it does. It's more annoying than painful.
Okay.
My shoulder was not as audible before. I'll definitely tell you that.
Okay. And a little pop, if it doesn't hurt, isn't necessarily a bad thing. What do you think here?
I can feel it a little bit, but I think some of that is because of the exam. I know when Dr. Hawkins did her exam, that very next day, it felt a little funny.
Worked over?
Yeah.
Okay, how about here?
Nope, that's fine.
Okay, let it on down. I'm going to give it a little squeeze.
That's good.
A little pull.
Okay. That's good.
How about behind your back like this?
Okay.
And then try to lift your hand off your back.
That's the trick. So if I do
that,
that,
hurts.
I can get about it.
Hurts to do it?
It's not so much hurt. It just won't.
Just doesn't want to do it.
That's it. It doesn't.
Show me the other side by comparison.
Okay.
And hold that other side. Don't let me push it in. Okay. Gotcha. Looks a lot better. All right. Let me take you like this. Hold right there. And don't let me push it out. How you doing?
Good.
You good? Okay, let it on down. Will you hold your arms like this? Don't let me push your hands together.
Okay.
Ready? Hold them. Hold them. No pain? Good. Hold them there. Don't let me push them out. You good? Excellent. Okay, feels nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's check it out with this sound. You'll have to disrobe down to, you got a t-shirt in there?
Yeah.
If you would take off everything but a t-shirt,
okay,
we'll check it out.
Awesome.
All right. Erwin, just hang out. You'll see this with me.
Okay.
We're going to look at your biceps tendon, or maybe we'll see where your biceps tendon is. They may have tied yours off and shortened it up right here.
Okay.
Usually it comes right up in here, and I think you did have probably what they call a biceps tenodesis, where they've tied yours off and make it where it doesn't go all the way up in that groove.
Okay.
Which is good. I mean, they do that to make sure you can't tear it again.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't put it way up there, you can't tear it again. And the biceps itself really looks okay. Little wear on it, but no big deal. As we're looking at these, with all of them, the top is your skin. Then after that is your deltoid. In this case, this is your biceps tendon, and the bottom's always going to be bone, pretty much. Under that is nothing. You
Okay,
can't.
so this right here.
Yeah, that's bone. This is your
Okay.
humerus. This is your humeral head,
Okay.
and you get down to your humeral neck a little bit, and then this is the biceps tendon.
Okay.
So that, not too interesting. That really looks okay.
Okay.
Let's get into the cuff.
All right.
So I'm going to rotate you out a little bit. Get back in the sweet spot. Okay, if I rotate you out, you'll see your subscapularis coming into view.
Okay.
This little piece of meat is your subscapularis tendon. Tell me if it hurts you. I want to stretch it a little bit.
Okay.
Image is better if I stretch it. That okay?
Yep, this is fine. Like for me, like I say, it's behind the back is probably where I feel the majority of the pain. I've actually stopped doing push-ups too, because sometimes when I do push-ups,
I'm glad.
feel it.
Okay. I mean, there's your acromion process. There's where the two meet.
Okay.
I can tell you've done a little lifting over the years because this space is a little decreased and it's slightly subluxed. When this clavicle is higher than this acromion process, that little drop off is called this thin line going across, and it looks nice, not really holding any fluid in there, so happy with that. Okay, the next one is the one I'm most suspicious of based on what you said. So will you sit up like this with your hand forward facing on your back pocket?
Like this here?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I can already feel tightness.
Yeah, this is the supraspinatus. It's the one that gets stretched when you put your hand behind your back, and it's the most often torn or injured rotator cuff tendon. So when you had surgery, you probably had this repaired.
Okay.
And so we'll hope it stayed repaired. All right, so here it is. So far, so good. This is it. Looks good so far. Nice little bit of meat in there. So, yeah, this is your humeral head again. This is your supraspinatus. This is a thickened bursa. Okay. So this line right here shouldn't be so thick like this. When this is healthy, the bursa is very thin and you hardly even see it. It's just a thin line. Yours is good and thick. Okay. So it looks like you've irritated it for a while.
Yeah. And is that where the tightness comes from?
Well, maybe, but we'll see. We'll see about that part. Definitely some irritation there anyway. I don't know if that's causing the tightness or not, but we're going to look for some impingement. Dr. Harkins said that you had some a positive impingement sign. So we can video that here in a minute and see it physically impinge if it does. But hey, the good news is this is nice and intact. There's no real damage to it. There's a little bit of irregularity. They might have put some sutures in here, repairing a previous tear, but there's no acute tearing. The biggest thing I see is that thickened bursa. All this is bursal tissue, and it shouldn't really even be visible. It should just be a thin, bright line.
Oh, wow.
But instead, it's got fluid all the way across. And that a lot of times, what happens when she's talking about that impingement, when you lift your arm a certain way, this tendon needs to just slide right under this bone. This pointy thing is a bone. And particularly when that bursa is effused and thick, you'll try to slide it under there and it'll pinch every time. That may be what that popping is too. So let's take a look at that next. So let me borrow your arm. Let it just hang loose. I'm going to move it. You don't need to help here. And so immediately I can see that it impinges. It didn't take any time at all. So this, if you look right here, this should just slide smoothly under here. Instead, it kind of humps up right here. When you watch it move, it'll hump right here. And that's the fact that this tissue cannot slide under this bone. Watch this. It humps up right in there. That is subacromial impingement.
So it looks like it's almost head-butting it.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. That's a good call. It kind of is head-butting it. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. So it's like it wants to shear this off. You know, if this is too tall to clear that thing, it's like a big truck going under an overpass. It's too low. It's just shearing off the top of it, and that's going to be irritating. That's always going to impinge that bursa and that tendon. Okay, so we'll take a little video of that for
Okay.
posterity's sake, and then hopefully later we can see that you don't impinge like that anymore.
Okay with that?
Sometimes, Erwin, you can improve that immediately
Okay.
by using your lower trapezius muscle. So
Okay.
while you're here,
Okay.
very lightly pull your shoulder blade down and back. Thank you, sir. Hold it like that while I do this. It is immediately better.
Wow.
So that tells us one thing, that some of it is mechanical.
Okay.
Well, maybe a lot of it's mechanical for all we know. But so part of it is the lower trap positions your scapula and your AC where you want it to be. It pulls it down and away from impingement. So if this muscle isn't working like it should, and maybe this muscle is working overtime, and maybe your pack is too tight, and it probably is, kind of feels tight, those things are going to pull you into impingement.
Okay.
This will pull you away from impingement.
Okay.
So you're going to need to do a lot of training where you pull your shoulder down and back.
Okay.
And so she's got a lot of exercises for you to accomplish that, using therapeutic and some dumbbells, maybe doing some manually resisted stuff. But when you hold that down and back, it impinges less. It still impinges,
Yeah.
but it's less. So between a treatment of a lot of things they can do. I don't know what else she'll choose to do, but electrical stimulation can help get some of this effusion out of here. Something like photophoresis, where you take a steroid and you drive it in with sound waves, can help decrease effusion in this bursa.
Okay.
She might choose to tape your scapula and pull it away physically, just it's like having her hands
like
just hold it.
tape and
Right,
all that.
like KT tape or a heavier tape perhaps. But there's a lot of ways to decrease bursal effusion, make this happier so it's physically smaller, so it'll clear better. And then if you strengthen that lower trap better, where you position it better, this thing will clear and you'll stop impinging.
Say the ultrasound versus say a traditional MRI, because I had an original MRI and things like that. So how do you know when you need one versus?
Excellent question. So this is really the preferred diagnostic. It's more sensitive. It'll find smaller tears. It's the only thing that you can do where you can be dynamic.
Okay.
So like that impingement test we did on, you can't do it with an MRI. You have to remain totally still. So it's the only kind of test where I can move it around, find right where you're sore, so dynamically. You can tell me while it's going on. With the MRI, you got to be totally still.
Okay.
You can't. There's no interaction between you and the guy that's doing the test on you. You just lay there or sit there. This is better in most every way. Now, when you do need an MRI is when we suspect labral pathology.
Okay.
With this test, we get just a little glimpse of your posterior labrum, which did look good. We don't get much view at all of your anterior labrum.
Okay.
You show no signs of labral pathology, but if you did, that's when we'd be more concerned, maybe with an MRI. But beyond that, this is better, more sensitive, shows more.
Okay, like saying so we said the impingement and everything. This will help in being able to identify impingements.
Yes, sir, and hopefully identify after that you don't have it.
Okay, what type of people would benefit from the ultrasound versus an MRI?
So again, I'm going to say almost everybody.
Okay.
Almost everybody would do better with this modality because it's just more sensitive. So it will pick up smaller rotator cuff impingements. It'll do things dynamically that you can't do with the other. And not just for the shoulder, for other parts of the body too. You can have something that's very sore, or maybe it's swollen or hot, and you can take this and put the sound head right on it and say, hey, is that the spot? And you say, yeah, that's it. And push it right where you're hurting. It's got Doppler, so we can turn on Doppler ultrasound and see if an area is growing new vessels, if it has acute
Doppler
inflammation.
radar type.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
same kind of thing.
Okay.
Just sending in sound waves, it's bouncing off, and it's telling us if there's any blood flow in there. So what we want is everything that opens you up. Really everything that works against what nature does to you and kind of works in those ways that you can't naturally do. So this motion that you can't do very well, this motion that you can't do very well. So things like rows, lawnmower pulls, extensions, maybe a tricep kickback, and definitely some of that rotator work you were talking about that's a little painful going out like this. But just within the limits of pain.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll get with Dr. Hawkins. I hit it, but I'll get a list of the things I can do to make sure, because otherwise I didn't know. I felt like tightness in the push-up, but for now it's probably best just not to do them at all.
Right. For now. You give that 4 to 6 weeks under her care, you'll be able to do probably everything that you want.
Okay, perfect.
Sound good?
No,
Got any other questions?
Nope, I think that's it, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Cool. I would say the really cool part was looking at the impingement in real time. It was kind of freaky because literally as I felt the pain, I was like, it looks like it's
You
just
feel it.
headbutting
Yes.
up against my arm.
Yeah, and that's what I want you to see, because it's like you feel the pain, but you don't know what's going on. So now you have a mental picture of what's happening.
Why I
when
feel
you
it's
feel
not a
that
poking,
pain.
but it's more. You can see it's a headbutt. It just
Right,
feels like
right.
a poke.
And like you're saying, like if you're in a better posture, you're opening that space up a little bit. So when you go through that motion, you shouldn't feel it as much. So when the exercise that we're going to do, we're going to get you to where your muscles, your structure, your posture is appropriate.
Okay.
So you're positioned so that you are not, in that curved position. That's kind of where I started you with the pec stretch, trying to stretch things out. It's kind of hard to strengthen some muscles, and you have to stretch it out the opposite side, right? So I've been starting you with the stretching to kind of open things up. So when you go to strengthen it, then you have the motion to strengthen that full range.
Okay. Now it's funny you say strengthen it, because like he gave me a laundry list of exercises I shouldn't do anymore. I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, dude, you just killed like half my workout. Like,
so it's all protection.
I do better ask him what could I do than what couldn't I do.
So you're gonna get creative. I'm gonna show you what you can do. We'll go through all these exercises. So he's like he said, like I told you, no overhead.
Okay.
Anything over your shoulders. You don't want to do that. He doesn't want you doing anything that's pushing forward, like a bench press.
So bench press, push ups,
things like that. Anything that's gonna pull you forward or out to the side.
Okay. Yeah, he said no flies as well.
Right. Doesn't want anything that's gonna create you to want to do that. Strengthening your pecs is going to kind of tighten you up a little bit. We're trying to open you up.
Okay.
Right. So once we get you opened up, then we're going to do the strengthening on the back side.
Okay.
So those muscles are stronger.
Okay.
So this is looser. Back side is stronger. Brings your posture back.
Okay.
Okay. Opens that area.
Okay. That makes sense.
He also mentioned the dry needling.
He did.
Are you okay with needles?
I mean, I'm okay with needles. I mean, I've got ink, I've got tattoos.
Okay.
I'm not playing strong, I promise you. And I've had dry needling before when they were first trying to figure out this problem. They did try it. I've learned that it depends on who's needling. So if you know what you're doing, it's not as bad than if someone's just wondering.
So it's good because it's gonna help produce some blood flow to that area to get things healed. It's gonna help break up some of that tension also. So we're gonna try that your next visit. I'm gonna incorporate some more strengthening exercises because I've given you stretching. You've been doing that for a week and a half now, right? I want you to keep doing those. Then I'll show you some strengthening exercises. We'll do the dry needling each time you come. And we'll see how that's improving.
Okay. So
Okay.
just keep doing my usual, the corner, which again, we talked about it. You don't realize how difficult it is to find a corner in your place. I
but you
thought
got
that was
one now.
easy, but I did find one. I found a corner, so I do that. And I do the one over my shoulder, and we're about to do some new ones on top of that.
So as long as you don't feel increased pain, I want you to raise those elbows up to your shoulder level. Here. So I had you here, right? I want you here and going in.
But don't go too much. Just stop right there.
At the stretch. Remember, don't go into the pain.
That's
always going to be anything we do with stretches. You're going to do if you go slow enough, you'll feel the stretch first. Then you'll feel the pain. If you jump into the stretch, you go past the stretch and straight into the pain. I don't want you to go into the pain. So you got to do your stretch slowly so you can tell when that transition happens. Stop at the stretch.
That's where you hold the 10
stop
seconds.
at the pain. Yeah.
And back up a little bit, hold it 10 seconds. Come on back.
Then open you up.
Can do that.
All right. You got any other questions?
No, I've got about 2 weeks before my next wrestling show. So I'm good. I'm good so far. Now, what I may talk to you about after that may be a whole different conversation.
We got to get you on it.
Yeah.
We got to get you on it.
We'll need some prehabbing at some point, I'm sure.
We're going to get you. I'm going to have another list of exercises for you when you come in next time.
Awesome.
We'll do that and then the dry needling.
Okay. That works. Sounds good.
All right.
Awesome. I appreciate it.